oh, how everything can change in a matter of days. It was all good just a week ago. We beat up on the Chicago Sky a few days ago. 35-point victory. Caitlin Clark triple-double. Indiana Fever riding high. Indiana Fever fans riding high. Caitlin Clark supporters riding high. And then, of course, the dweebs do what the dweebs do. They make up nonsense. They make up lies. And the WNBA validate the lies. The WNBA validates the nonsense. The WNBA validates non-truths.
The Indiana Fever have officially had enough. They're not just upset, they're threatening to walk away from the WNBA entirely. Why? Because according to them, what's being said isn't gossip. It's full-blown lies, not misunderstandings, not twisted truths, straight up fabrications. But here's where it gets weird. Nobody's revealing exactly what those lies are. That silence? Yeah, it's shady, really shady. Behind closed doors, there's clearly tension bubbling over. And the way the Fever are moving, it feels like they're sitting on something explosive. Something the rest of the league is desperate to keep hidden. Is this a bold stand for truth, or the opening chapter in a scandal that could tear through the WNBA like wildfire? Stick around, wait up, because whatever's brewing, it's about to erupt.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. This dump. This turd of turds known as the WNBA. This damn league can't get the hell out of their own way. They don't get it. They just don't get it. The diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert, she does not understand how fragile this fan base is. And by fragile, I'm referring to their level of loyalty to pretend basketball, which in this case doesn't exist.
Alright, strap in, because if you thought WNBA drama started and ended with what happens on the court, think again. This chaos is deeper than your most toxic group chat. Here's the tea. The Indiana Fever, powered by none other than the electric, game-changing Caitlin Clark, have basically become the league's golden goose. We're talking sold-out arenas, ticket prices skyrocketing, and fans pouring in like never before. Caitlin isn't just a player. She's the engine behind the WNBA's surge in popularity. She's bringing the buzz, the eyeballs, and the dollars. And right now, the Fever are the league's hottest ticket, giving the WNBA exactly what it's been starving for: relevance, revenue, and serious momentum.
I think the number one thing you'd be talking about after that game, after that amazing performance from Caitlin Clark, the triple-double, the amazing passes, the crazy shots, you'd think we would be talking about basketball. The number one thing you think we'd be investigating is how nobody else in the WNBA has ever done anything like Caitlin Clark is doing. We should be investigating the fact that Caitlin Clark's 4 threes in that game were more exciting than, like, if you go to 2022 and check out the top 10 plays of the WNBA season, her 4 threes in that game were more exciting than those 10 plays, literally. Like, what she does in one game is single-handedly more exciting than anything we've ever seen in the WNBA. That's what we should be.
And yet somehow, the league and parts of its diehard fan base are painting the Fever as the villains of the story. Why? Because their fans got a little too hyped in the stands. Because Caitlin Clark had the audacity to make a tough, clean play on Angel Reese.
Started all of this.
It's a flagrant. And then Chicago will maintain the basketball. Reese misses.
Okay, that was it. That noise you heard right there that sounds a little bit like a dolphin was actually a YouTuber called Flight Reacts. A laugh. All right, a laugh. That, it's my understanding, actually gets played during NBA games too. That's what it's all about, because they tried to say that sounded like a monkey.
Let's roll this back like it's an episode of your favorite reality show. Angel Reese, the queen of the side-eye and silent shade, kicks things off with a not-so-subtle shove to the back of a Fever player's head. It's bold, it's loud, it's classic I dare you to call it energy. Then Caitlin Clark responds with a textbook foul. Tough, clean, nothing dirty about it. But suddenly, the narrative flips. Fever fans are painted as the villains. Wild rumors of racism start swirling. And Angel? She's crowned the league's latest untouchable icon.
National television, it's been the most polarizing conversation in all of sports over the last over the last 24 hours, rather. Angel Reese, many would suggest that she overreacted, but Slick, do you have an issue with Angel Reese's reaction to Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul?
Yes, and I have an issue with the way she reacted. I have an issue with the way it's being handled by her, by the Chicago Sky, everybody involved.
The wild part, it's Indiana Fever fans who are actually keeping the league afloat. They're packing arenas, snatching up jerseys, and injecting real money into the WNBA. Meanwhile, the rest of the league is watching from the sidelines, arms crossed, as their own viewership gets completely overshadowed by one breakout superstar and the squad backing her.
Really thankful. They continued to show up for us, and they make a lot of noise. Like, they're into it. They're not just sitting there. Like, they're invested in this basketball. It's great for our league. It's great for every team that gets to come and play here. I think we've had a lot of great battles, and they've helped us win a lot of games on this floor. So, you know, like I said, hopefully we can bring the playoffs back here and give them a taste of it, because they deserve it. It's been since 2016. So, you know, it's only going to get better and better from here on out.
You can almost hear it behind the scenes. Sure, we want Caitlin Clark to shine, just not like this, and definitely not with those Fever fans cheering her on. In other words, the league wants growth, just as long as it comes with the usual narratives of victimhood and controversy. It's as if the WNBA's master plan for success is to torch its own foundation, starting with the one team actually keeping the lights on. And here's where it gets even more ridiculous.
Flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark. Listen, I was at the game. If there was somebody being racist or saying shit, obviously boot him, never let him back. I would be stunned beyond belief if that was the case. This crowd, I've sat on the wood for a million games, been in a million environments. The crowd at the Fever game, little girls, families, ladies, nice crowd. You even though it's 100% false, by acknowledging we don't condone hate and not seeing that this was a internet rumor, complete bullshit, you're lending credence to this. There was none of that. It was a great crowd, a positive crowd. Yeah, Angel Reese deserved to get her ass booed when she attacked Caitlin on a normal foul. Other than that,
the same fans being painted as racists. Yeah, they're the ones packing the stands night after night, riding hard for their squad. So what's really behind all this noise? Is this actually about racism? Or is it about envy, control, and a whole lot of resentment aimed at Indiana and Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise? Let's be real, Caitlin Clark is the most talked about player to hit the league in years. Love her or hate her, she moves the needle. And Angel Reese, like it or not, the league seems to have cast her as the ideal rival. Meanwhile, Fever fans have somehow become the catch-all villains for every ounce of tension swirling around the WNBA right now. But here's the truth. Without Caitlin and the Indiana Fever, this league might still be begging people to show up to half-empty arenas with free ticket promos and awkward vibes. Instead, we've got sold-out stadiums, record-breaking viewership, and an electric atmosphere every time they hit the court. And yet, while the WNBA should be popping champagne, it feels like some folks are more focused on killing the vibe. But here's the good news. Indiana isn't slowing down. They're racking up wins, building a loyal fan base, and proving that real hoopers and real fans still run this game. So let Caitlin do her thing. Let the Fever keep feeding off the energy. Because the truth is, growing pains come with the territory. And if the WNBA's smart, it'll embrace the chaos and ride this wave all the way to the top.
They wanted to hone their defensive skills. Last season, in the offseason, Stephanie White made it a point to drill that idea home. I mean, Caitlin Clark talked about upping her defense, and in the offseason, they picked up a lot of key defenders. They picked up Natasha Howard, who is the 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, and last season, the Connecticut Sun came in first in their defensive rating. So what did the Fever do? They took Stephanie White, they took Keith Porter, they brought in Wnba Bonner, and they said, we're doing this right.
Alright, let's pull the lid off the WNBA drama that's spinning harder than a washing machine on max. Right at the center of it all, the Indiana Fever, the squad that went from league afterthought to front page headline in what feels like overnight. Leading the charge is Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom rewriting the rulebook and shattering every stat sheet in sight. She's not just a baller, she's a full-blown movement. Fans can't get enough. Games are selling out, tickets are hitting sky-high prices, and Clark jerseys flying off shelves like it's Black Friday. You'd think the league would be celebrating, right? Wrong. Instead of rallying behind this momentum, the Fever and their supporters are catching heat, branded as too rowdy, too proud, and somehow too much. The kind of too much that doesn't fit neatly into the league's curated storyline. It's like Mean Girls, but swap the high school cafeteria for a hardwood court and replace pink shirts with controversial flagrant fouls. Now the Fever are being painted as the disruptors, not because they're doing anything wrong, but because they're daring to shine too brightly. And suddenly, it's like the league is saying, sure, we want success, just not like this.
Today, the WNBA is investigating alleged racial comments that were directed at WNBA player Angel Reese by fans yesterday at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Actually, that game was on Sunday. The Players Union says it supports, on Saturday rather. The Players Union says it supports the investigation and condemns all forms of hate and discrimination.
So what's really going on here? Everything hit the fan after that moment. The now viral play that had social media losing its mind and sent the WNBA into full-on damage control. Angel Reese, the league's queen of chaos and side-eyes, got into it with Caitlin Clark in what should have been a routine bit of basketball contact. Hustle, grit, a little bump and grind like any real game brings. But instead of chalking it up to intensity, the situation blew up into something else entirely. This wasn't about who wanted it more on the court. No. It spiraled into wild accusations, headlines about racism, claims of dirty play, and even people questioning if the Fever belonged in the league at all. Let's break it down. Angel Reese initiates contact, a clear shove, a cheap shot, plain and simple. And what happens? Crickets, no suspension, no outrage, no media circus. But when Caitlin dishes out a clean, by-the-book defensive play in return, suddenly Fever fans are painted as villains. The league kicks off a narrative about out-of-control supporters, and the media dives in headfirst like it's the climax of some drama-filled reality show. At this point, you've gotta ask, are we watching basketball, or did we accidentally switch the channel to a soap opera?
People just aren't used to the heated intensity of a great rivalry. But in the NBA, we had MJ and the Pistons, we had Bird and Magic. We're kind of used to it. As Caitlin Clark in Indiana hammered the Chicago Sky, it was like 4.5 minutes left in the third, there was a foul. It should not have been upgraded to a flagrant foul. It was a foul. And I really think if you truly respect women's basketball, let them play. Sort of like guys. Rivalries equal ratings. Sports is better with intensity. Animosity is part of it. This is okay. Who cares if Angel Reese does it like Caitlin Clark? It's not soccer.
But here's where things get really interesting. The Indiana Fever aren't just the new faces in the league. They're the spark lighting up arenas again. Meanwhile, other teams are barely filling seats or making noise. So why is all the heat suddenly directed at Fever fans when they're the ones actually showing up and making the games exciting? It's like blaming the loudest, most energetic people at a party for the party being fun. On the other hand, some teams and their fans are sitting quietly, watching empty seats stack up and merchandise collect dust. And then there's Caitlin Clark's massive impact on the game itself. She's not simply playing basketball, she's rewriting the whole story. Here's a rookie stepping into a league where veterans were expected to dominate, but she's snatching the spotlight, grabbing the mic, and making it clear she's here for the long haul. She's selling out arenas, smashing viewership records, and creating buzz you can't ignore. Yet instead of applause, she and the Fever are met with pushback. Pushback fueled by jealousy, territorial disputes, and honestly, a fair bit of bitterness. It's like the rest of the league forgot that competition should be the engine that drives sports forward, not a cage holding it back with petty grudges and overblown drama.
Had Angel or anyone else done the exact same type of a foul to Caitlin, the storyline's different. I don't have an issue with the foul. I thought it was a hard foul. I was always taught you don't give up an easy basket, and that's what I thought Caitlin did. My thing with that was stand in it.
Stand on business.
Yeah.
I got no issue with none of it. It's just basketball soft as hell right now on both sides of it. There ain't no damn flagrant foul, man.
Hear your perspective on the flagrant foul. What was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, you know? It's either wide open 2 points or, you know, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
Then there's the media circus. Every time the Fever step on the court, the story quickly shifts from pure basketball to who's starting the next drama. It's like the league has turned into less of a sport and more of a reality show, where the real competition is over who can throw the sharpest shade, all while keeping their Instagram perfectly curated. Angel Reese, with her flair for the dramatic, gets crowned the league's IT girl, while Caitlin Clark and the Fever are painted as the villains. This predictable storyline has become almost laughable, and the fans, the genuine ones who spend their hard-earned cash filling arenas, buying jerseys, and boosting the league's profile, get caught in the middle. Suddenly, rooting for the Fever marks you as the problem, but cheering for other teams means you're just another regular fan. The double standard here is impossible to ignore. It's like being told you can only support your favorite team if you do it quietly, politely, and without actually winning. But here's the real kicker. The league seems intent on undermining its own success. The Fever and Caitlin Clark prove the WNBA can grow, capture new fans, and compete with any sport for attention and respect. Yet instead of celebrating this breakthrough, some cling to old narratives and internal politics that only hold the league back.
Of this audience, they have no loyalty to the WNBA. Their loyalty lies with Caitlin Clark, and that loyalty, it is not guaranteed to extend to the rest of this putrid league. No one is loyal to the dump. No one cares about the WNBA.
Step back and look at the bigger picture. The Fever are injecting new life, fresh energy, and a much-needed spark into the league. Ticket sales are soaring, merch is flying off the shelves, and the social media buzz has hit an all-time high. But what does the media focus on? Conflict, controversy, and finger-pointing about who started what. Apparently, stories about growth and excitement just don't grab clicks the way drama and division do. This all ties into a larger conversation about sports culture, fandom, and the fight for respect. The WNBA is battling to carve out its spot in a crowded sports world, and players like Caitlin Clark are the driving force behind that momentum. Yet instead of being celebrated as pioneers, they find themselves targeted by jealousy and old-school gatekeeping. Meanwhile, Angel Reese and her army of fans seem shielded, treated like royalty despite actions and antics that would be unacceptable in most other leagues. This glaring double standard sends a troubling signal that talent and hard work alone might not cut it unless you fit into the preferred storyline.
You can just feel the energy from the crowd, like they're also just itching for it, and that's not why you play, but I feel like that's the part of the game I take a lot of pride in. I want to be able to do a lot of different things for this team, and honestly, when I think I get the ball off of a missed shot, off the rebound, I think it's other teams have a really hard time stopping us in transition, and I can just pitch it up to my teammates to find with.
Fever fans who have stood firmly behind their team are being unfairly targeted just for their passion. Media coverage often ignores the positive waves the Fever are making, and instead zeroes in on conflicts that feel manufactured. It's a classic case of blaming the messengers, or in this case, the entire fan base. But this goes way beyond basketball now. It's about identity, loyalty, and the power struggles shaping the league. It's a battle over who gets to be the face of the WNBA and who gets pushed aside. The Fever and Caitlin Clark symbolize change and forward momentum, while Angel Reese and her circle represent the old guard, tradition, and control. As this drama plays out, fans are left wondering who will come out on top, the established order or the new wave. Unfortunately, the real losers here are the fans and the sport itself, because all this internal fighting distracts from what truly matters: amazing basketball, rising stars, and a league on the verge of something huge. In the end, the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark aren't just a team and a player. They're a movement, a spark ready to ignite a revolution in women's sports. And no amount of petty drama, media spin, or politics can ever dull that flame.
I need one word to describe Caitlin Clark.
Dog.
Slayful.
Generational.
Generational. Dominant. Passionate. Amazing. Powerful.
Historical.
Legendary.
Ready.
Explosive. Badass.
Indiana.
Awesome. Amazing.
Amazing. Extraordinary.
And we now have a statement from Mel Raines, who is the head of PSNE, saying, quote, "We are aware of the allegations of inappropriate fan conduct, and we are working closely with the WNBA to complete their investigation. We stand firm in our commitment to provide a safe environment for all WNBA play.
Let the Fever play their game. Let Caitlin Clark take over. Let the fans roar with pride and passion, because the future of the WNBA hinges on embracing that energy, not snuffing it out. If the league truly wants to grow, it has to choose whether it's backing real success or clinging to the old ways. Right now, the Fever and their supporters are carrying the load both on the court and in the stands. The real question is, will the WNBA recognize that before it's too late? Only time will reveal the answer. But while some try to dim the Fever's fire, all they're really doing is making it burn hotter. Keep your eyes peeled. Caitlin Clark and Indiana are changing the game, and this blaze isn't dying down anytime soon. Stick around, because the WNBA just got way more electrifying,